Listen to what this Muslim street preacher says about Christian statues.
When you see a statue of Jesus and it falls and it breaks, that statue can't do anything for you, right? But the one who created Jesus, the one who made Abraham and Moses and Muhammad, peace be upon all of them, we love all of them. They all brought a good message.
Crosses with Jesus on it.
This is wrong. This is idol worship.
This is Uthman ibn Faruk, a Muslim apologist and street preacher. You've most likely come across his videos or videos featuring him, as he's quite prominently known in Muslim circles. He's even had rapper and Muslim convert Sneeko appear with him in his outings. Now watch as Uthman makes several mistakes about Christianity and what Christians believe, as well as logical fallacies. His first being in the opening 4 seconds.
When you see a statue of Jesus and it falls and it breaks, that statue can't do anything for you, right? But
I don't know who he's talking about when he says that statue can't do anything for you, as Christians don't claim that statues can help or intercede for us.
The one who created Jesus, the one who made Abraham and Moses and Muhammad, peace be upon all of them, we love all of them. They all brought a good message.
Crosses with Jesus on it.
This is wrong. This is idol worship.
You say you're not supposed to wear that.
Exactly. See, you know this already.
Uthman is either being deliberately deceptive when he claims that Christians worship the cross or images of Christ or the saints, or he is just ignorant of Christianity, which he claimed to have studied.
I went back to the church because that's what I knew. I was like, look, I'm serious. I want to change my life. And they just be like, believe in Jesus. Okay, what else? That's it. You're going to heaven. Who's Jesus? He's God. And he's the Son of God. Wait, you just said he was God. Which one is it?
Either way, he has it wrong about what Christians believe and practice. The icons you see in the churches or the crosses you see on our buildings are not worshipped. They are merely pointers to God, and we are to emulate the saints. The cross and icons you see on churches are no more idols than the crescent moon and star on mosques, or words on a flag. Remember, God commanded Moses to create engraved images on both the Ark of the Covenant and the snake on the staff. These were not idols, but what does seem to be an idol is the black stone in Mecca, which is kissed, touched, and prayed to, and said to bear witness to those who did so on the last day. This fits the very definition of idolatry.
Think about this. The 10 commandments. The first commandment, hear, O Israel, your Lord is one. Not 3, 1.
Uthman appeals to Deuteronomy, but mistakes Deuteronomy 6 verse 4 for the first commandment, which is actually Deuteronomy 5 verse 6 and 7.
I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You are to have no other gods before me.
However, this isn't the only sign of ignorance Uthman shows here, as the very verse he uses in Deuteronomy 6 verse 4 has a secret code in it. The Hebrew word for one is echad, which is the very same word used in Genesis 2:24 when Adam and Eve are said to be one flesh. Echad, compound, unit, one. This is a perfect reflection of the Trinity, as God is one being of 3 persons. God is supernatural, meaning he is beyond nature, beyond creation. Just as 1 times 1 times 1 still equals 1, God times God times God still equals one God. You can forgive Muslims for their misunderstanding of the Trinity, as Surah 5:73 makes the mistake of saying that God, or Allah, is the one of 3, not just one being with 3 persons. However, if the Quran were a divine revelation from God, then this verse would have had the Trinity correct. Unfortunately for Muslims and the Quran, this isn't the case.
Second commandment, don't worship idols. Everywhere you go in church, they give you an idol. They got Catholic got a little Mary idol. You go to a Christian church, they got Jesus on the cross. That's an idol. It's a statue. We don't believe in worshiping that.
Again, Uthman is either lying or ignorant of what Christians practice, as no church give out statues to be worshipped, and I speak broadly as a former Protestant and a practicing Catholic. This isn't something that is done in our churches. He doesn't have it right.
Jesus didn't say, put a statue of me up. He didn't say, wear a cross. He put his head on the ground, prayed to the Creator.
Uthman once again appeals to the scriptures, this time to the Gospel of Matthew, or the Injil, chapter 26:39. In this, Jesus is described as falling on his face and praying to God. Now, the context of this is that Jesus is praying to the Father right before his arrest and the day before his execution, something Uthman denies happened. And remember, Jesus prays out of anxiety as he is aware of his fate in saying, Father, if it be possible, Let this chalice pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. He is happy to cherry-pick the verses that may support his personal beliefs, whilst rejecting the context of the verse and the message of the text as a whole. But it gets even worse for Uthman, as the very verse he appeals to states that Jesus refers to God as Father, something Muslims vehemently deny something God is. Surah 112 verse 3, Surah 518, and Surah 6:101 all claim that Allah has no son and has no children, that including spiritual children, in the sense of how Christians would refer to themselves as children of God. This is blatant intellectual dishonesty on Uthman's part. But this isn't the only time he has shown dishonesty in his online clips. In this clip, Uthman uses rhetoric in the form of a trick question. The person he speaks to obviously is not a scholar, nor is he fully equipped with the knowledge of faith. But that doesn't deter Uthman. In fact, he takes advantage of this to insult the man's intelligence. First, by asking a loaded question, and secondly, with deceptive editing.
Jesus write a Bible. You know what language the Bible is compiled in?
English. God and Jesus.
I mean, you don't have to look further than the caption on the video itself to see what he thinks of this man. The question posed doesn't make sense, as Christians don't claim Christ wrote a Bible, as Uthman stated. The question I believe he meant to ask was, did Jesus write a book that is in the Bible?
Is Jesus God?
No, there's two, aren't there?
There's two, okay.
His dad.
So the God and Jesus are not the same then, there's two.
Yeah, there's two.
Okay, we're making progress.
At this point, it becomes obvious that the gentleman Uthman is speaking to is not the best person to have this discussion with. Uthman doesn't mind though, as it gives him the opportunity to gloat in this man's lack of knowledge. He and those with him proudly smirk as though they had just definitively disproved Christianity.
A different God, don't you?
We don't. We have the same God of Jesus.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we
have
do. Of course we
different
do. Who's your
gods.
God?
When you go to church,
We don't go to church. We go to a masjid.
well, Muslim, I go to church. I
Masjid.
pray. Listen,
Oh wait, what is this?
I go and pray.
Did Jesus teach you that?
Jesus did.
No, he didn't.
The sign of the cross, which is a signifier of faith, as Uthman pointed out, does not appear in the Bible, but neither does the Shahada appear in the Quran.
Did Jesus do that?
He put his forehead on the ground and prayed, like I do.
Is all he did.
Yes, he did.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Is all he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah?
Yes. And it's in your Bible.
Yes, it is. Yeah, but when he looked up to Jesus,
This gentleman, a Christian, did his best to defend his faith. I'm sure he would be counted in the Beatitudes, though Uthman is an example of someone who does the opposite of them. He does seem to be someone that this verse refers to. If Uthman wasn't aware, Christians also pray face down. This is a common practice in Orthodoxy and is done in Catholicism. This practice also predates Islam. So it could quite easily be theorized that this form of prayer that Christians were already doing could have been introduced to Islam as a result of Christian influence.
Put his forehead on the ground and prayed, like I do.
is all he did.
Yes, he did.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Is all he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah?
Yes. And it's in your Bible.
Yes, it is.
He has no problem belittling others for their lack of knowledge, even when they are obviously not prepared for this type of discussion, and yet he himself is ignorant of basic Christian beliefs and practices, though he claims to have studied it. And even more laughable is that he doesn't even seem to know where certain books of the Bible are placed.
This, you can look at this,
Okay.
which is the correct way contextually,
Okay.
is that Jesus is not speaking of knowledge when it comes to ignorance, but he's talking about declarative. So go to 1 Corinthians for me, chapter 2.
Go for it. Here you go.
You don't know where it is, man? You got, all right, go to it, man.
I was just trying to help you.
Wrong way, man. Got to go the other way. Corinthians in the New Testament, Sheikh.
I got you. Relax. We've gone over Corinthians many a time.
All right, good. You should know where it is. You know.
Uthman is just as dishonest as he is ignorant. Whether that's a form of taqiyya or actual ignorance doesn't matter at this point, as his attitude towards those with lesser knowledge than he only reveals him for the slimy bully he is.